Welcome back, fellow 80s nerds. How's it going? Tony again here, Master of the 80s. Hope everyone's well. I've been wanting to do this video for a little while, and I thought there's no better time than now. But I'm going to do it a slightly different way. I'm going to do it like this today, because here in the UK, especially in Wigan at the moment, it's hotter than fucking Hades, and no one wants to see my big sweaty mess of a face on camera. So I thought I'd do it like this, it'd make it a little bit easier. There's no messing around with me in front of the camera. We'll just go have a quick fire through a load of Second Sight releases. Now, I love Second Sight. Second Sight are probably the best UK boutique company at the moment. I think the special editions, the limited edition releases are probably the best that's available on the market. Full stop. Doesn't matter where you're in the UK. These guys are knocking it out of the park at the moment. But for me, I don't collect the special editions. I ain't that kind of collector. I just collect the standard edition release Blu-rays, which when these are on offer, when every so often, when like I say, when Second Sight put a sale on, these can be picked up for about £9 each, which is brilliant because the transfers are always great. They've always got some great special features on there. So for £9, it's really good. I know those big sets are phenomenal, but again, I've just not the space to be collecting that kind of stuff. So the standalone editions like this do really well for me. The films we're going to have a look at, I'm not going to go into too much in detail with them or in-depth dives on them. Everybody will know these titles. I just wanted to really show what I had lying around in the collection. So the first one's the David Cronenberg Scanners. Again, everyone knows this film. It's an out-and-out cult classic, 1981 release. Again, really nice release from Second Sight. Love the black cases. Everything that Second Sight really do comes in a black case. You'll see a few that I've got aren't in black cases because I bought these second hand, and it looks like whoever's had them before me has whipped the black case out and put them in the standard blue one. So I do need to pick some black case up for these, but as a rule, these will always come in a black and rare case, which looks great. So again, we've got Scanners, really nice release, really nice transfer on this one, and again, some nice special features. If you want to pause these videos, if this video at any point as I've put different releases up to have a look at those special features, you can do that. Again, there's no words and graces about these standalone releases. They just are what they are. There's no reverse art on there or anything, but they're absolutely fantastic films from Second Sight. They do a great job on these transfers. So the first one is Scanners. Next we've got is Scanners 3, because I don't own Scanners 2. Really difficult to get hold of Scanners 2 on a standard release from Second Sight at the moment in the UK. Holds its money. I think it's probably out of print. I can never seem to find it anywhere. When it does pop up on the secondary market, people are wanting a fucking arm and a leg for it, and I just won't pay. So until I can find that one, the next one is Scanners 3. 1992, nowhere near as good as the original film, but decent enough anyway. And Second Sight have done a nice release on it. Again, it's in a bloody blue case, which it should be in a black case, but obviously someone switched this out when they've traded it in so they can keep the black case. Weirdly on this one, for a Second Sight release, no special features, which is a shame, but this could be picked up. I think it's one of the cheapest releases from Second Sight on the secondary market now in the UK. It's easy to pick up. It's Scanners 3, and again, it's a nice edition. It's a decent enough watch. It's a fun enough film, but again, it ain't a patch on 1 or 2. That's Scanners 3. Next up, again in a bloody blue case, because some swine has switched it out when I bought this second hand, is Quest for Fire, a film that doesn't always crop up or people know about that Second Sight released. I really like this one. If you like a good caveman film, as it says on the front, a science fantasy adventure. I won't go that far, but yeah, it's really good. Really early Ron Perlman film. Try saying that when you're drunk. From 1981, I think this is 81, 82, something like that. A really underrated film. If you've never seen this one, track it down, check it out. See if you can get it on stream and have a look at it first. I don't know who else would have released this one. I don't know who else has released this one apart from Second Sight. I would imagine that somebody in the US has probably released it. Again, some nice bonus features on there. There's a couple of commentaries by Ron Perlman, and there's a making of on there for that's 25 minutes long, which is quite cool. Again, another one that's quite cheap on the second-hand market now, if you can find a copy. Again, it's not easy to come by in the UK, but if you do find a copy, it's generally quite cheap. Again, with these, there's no reverse art, there's no nothing. The disc is just the disc. There's nothing else in there other than the Blu-ray. But it's a nice one to have in my collection, because again, it's one of those films that doesn't crop up that often, and it's not one that loads of people talk about. But I really like it. That's Quest for Fire. Now, this one is an all-time classic. This takes no introductions. This is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. One of those films, if you've watched any of my previous videos, especially the live stream that we did about Tobe Hooper films, you'll know I love and hate this at the same time. I know CK over at Dead Pit, the Dead Pit lads, tried to call me out a little bit of this one when he had a chat with Dirk. The reason I didn't like it, it's not that I don't like it. I do for the most parts like it. There's little bits in it that make me sort of dislike it a little bit. I've always had a funny one with this film. I never truly 100% in either way. I don't hate it, I don't 100% love it. I'm sort of always been on the fence with it, and it is what it is for me, this one. But this release that Second Sight did is an absolute fucking stonker. Really nice artwork. This one's got reverse art. If you can sort of see it, it's the same as the disc, the orange art. 2 discs of this, because this is absolutely teeming with special features, and there's some blinding special features on it as well. As again, this can be picked up reasonably priced. Again, it should be in a black case, but it's not, because some thieving swine switched it out. I ended up the blue one. But just look at that. I mean, as far as special features go, you can't ask for much more, really. And again, it's in there with my Tobe Hooper films, but it's not one of his better ones for me. I know people love this film, and it's sacrilege me saying that, but it is what it is for me. But again, this is a fantastic edition. Even if you've not got the big box set of this, I mean, this standalone edition that they released like this is superb. That's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. For me, this one is probably the best haunted house film that's ever been made. It's 1979's Amateurville Horror with James Brolin. Really good flick. Still like this one, still go back to this on a regular basis. Absolutely scared the shit out of me as a kid, this one. And again, Second Sight done a really nice job with it. Loads of bonus stuff on the back. Again, an Orion film, if you know me in this channel, you'll know I dig most stuff that Orion put out at the time. And this one's no exception. I mean, everything that come off the back of it was a bit shitty, wasn't it? But this one really good. Like he said as it says on the top there, it spawned numerous sequels and inspired haunted house movies for years to come, but nothing compares to the original classic, and that's probably about right, really. You know what I mean? It's a straight up banger. It's a good all round film. Again, nothing to write home about with these. These can be picked up dead cheap when they're on sale. Or at Second Sight, whether that's on their website, or I'd generally pick these up from HMV. HMV always have these on sale when it sales on for Second Sight. Again, be picked up for £9 these, which is an absolute fucking bargain. Yeah, so that one's the Amateurville Horror. Well, this is one for all you 80s nerds and 80s fans out there. This is probably one of the most quintessential 80s films you're ever going to come across. Probably one of the biggest cult followings in 80s films now, and this is Flight the Navigator. I mean, what can you say about this? If you're watching an 80s channel like this, then you'll all know this film. Absolutely brilliant film. Love this, always loved this from a very early age when I first watched it. Still stands up now. I think it still holds up really well. Again, it's nice to see that they went with the original artwork on this. This has got a reversible as well. If you look at Second Sight, they put an absolutely beautiful box set out of this. There was a limited edition set. Goes for crazy money now, really, second-hand wise, because it's obviously out of print at this point. But it's a beautiful set if you want to pick that up. There's a lot of stuff with it, but I'm quite happy with this one. Again, there is reversible art, and they did do new art for this one. This is a 4K remaster as well. So they did a 4K scan and restoration of this one. Again, absolutely loads of special features on this. It was a bit sad to hear what happened to Joey Kramer. You know what I mean? He was a decent enough child actor, and then the wheel just seemed to fall off sort of later on in his life as he grew up. But it's good to see him back, and he's doing conventions, and he did a really, really good documentary called Life After the Navigator, which is worth a pick up if you've not seen that or watched it. You have that. Yeah, and he seems like a really friendly guy. If you come across him on the convention scene, I think he was up in Liverpool a couple of weeks back here in the UK, and apparently he was fantastic. But yeah, it's a mainstay of 80s childhood films, and it still holds up really, really well, and it's one of my favourites. That is Flight of the Navigator. I mean, if you're an 80s film fan, who doesn't love a Steve Guttenberg film? And this one is no exception. It's Short Circuit. Again, everybody knows this film at this point. Again, this is a special edition, but this is the standalone Blu-ray. They did a really, really good box set of this. It's about like collector's edition, pretty much in the same vein as what they did with Flight of the Navigator. It's a really, really nice set. This, I think, it's a little bit cheaper than Flight of the Navigator if you can find a copy. But again, these standalone editions do me fine. Again, another 80s classic that doesn't need really me to tell you anything about it. It is what it is. Everyone knows it. Again, there's not a great deal of bonus features on this one, which is surprising, really. I thought they'd have put a little bit more on this feature itself. There is no reverse art on this one. This is what it is. There's the disc in this one. But again, a really good film that spawned a pretty decent sequel as well. 88 films, for some bizarre reason, have the Short Circuit 2 in this country. But that's Short Circuit by Second Sight. Now, back in the day, this film for me was up there with the what the fuck have I just watched, like Masters of the Universe. So when I came out of the cinema after watching Masters of the Universe, I was really disappointed. It was like, what the shit is this? This is not Masters of the Universe. And exactly the same thing happened with Super Mario Brothers. But the older I've got, and the more that I go back to these films, the more I enjoy them for what they are now than what they were back in the day. As a kid, I wanted Super Mario. I didn't want this pile of shite. And the same was, I wanted He-Man the way I remembered He-Man, not what Masters of the Universe turned out to be as a film. But like I said, going back to them now, I really enjoy them, and Super Mario Brothers is no exception. Bob Hoskins is bloody brilliant in it. Dennis Hopper is off his nut in it. It's an enjoyable, fun film, and it was a nice one that Second Sight picked some, and I'm really glad they did. I'm not sure if there's a big set of this one out. I would imagine there is. I would imagine there's a collector's edition of this out as well. But again, absolutely loads of bonus features on this one. There's a brand new 60-minute documentary on there, which again, it's worth picking up just to see that. Again, there's no reverse on this one. It's just a straight up one discer. But don't poo-poo it. If you remember this as a kid, remember don't liking it, go back, watch it. You may like it. If you like Master of the Universe now and hated it back in the day, the chances are you'll like this now if you hated it back in the day. I do. That's Super Mario Brothers. Electric Dreams, really weird little film that I sort of remembered from back in the day, and then the last time this popped up on the sale for Second Sight for £9, I grabbed it and watched it, and I thought, yeah, this isn't the film I remember. Weird computer, gets some red wine poured over it, ends up becoming a sentinel being. It starts to think for itself and take over the guys who owns the computer, sort of taking over his life. And messing things up for him. It was one of those that I completely forgot about. I remember sort of watching it back in the day, but couldn't remember enough about it. And then when I did watch it, I was like, well, yeah, it sort of remember bits, sort of don't remember bits. But it is a decent enough film. It's a bit of an odd one for Second Sight to pick up and put out, but they did a nice job with it. Again, not much in the way of special features. It's presented in 1080p high definition. There's an interview on the Electric Dreaming inside the story, a little bit of an interview and on it there and that, but there ain't a great deal on it. But again, it's one of those, if it crops up cheap and when it comes to the sales, I would say grab it. It's definitely worth a watch if you can pick this up for £9. But that was Electric Dreams. Now, I remember watching this back in the day and thinking, Jesus Christ, this is fucking nuts, and it scared the shit out of me as well. But it is extra. Not all extraterrestrials are friendly. Fuck me, he's not in this one. Really good release from Second Sight. This one, there is reverse art on it. This is the original art. Second Sight did some reverse for it. Also, absolutely teeming with special features. This one, there is a bigger box set on this one, like a collector's edition that's worth picking up if you can grab it. A little bit more expensive in the UK now, but the best way to sum it up is what they put on the back of the box, and it says, a must-see cult rental of the 80s. Extra is one of the most outrageous, bizarre, gory, insanely enjoyable horror films of its time, complete with the infamous alien birth scene. Not all extraterrestrials are friendly. That pretty much sums it up. And there's also on this as well, there's Exploring Extra, 57-minute documentary. Again, worth picking up for the documentary on it. This can be picked up cheap in the sales. Again, it can be picked up for £9. That's probably the best time to buy it when it comes to £9 sale, because otherwise you're normally paying over the odds for it. So I'd suggest waiting for the sale time to grab this one up if you just wanted to grab this edition of it. And again, just the disc, and obviously there is a reverse on it, but everyone knows that reverse is it's the artwork that Second Sight did for it. I mean, and I'd love that Second Sight put this one out, because it's a fantastic film. That's Extra. A more modern film put out by Second Sight now, and that is Stuart Gorn's 1996 Space Truckers. Again, one I sort of remember when it came out, but it was a bit of a flash in the pan kind of thing. And this film was sort of shot to make it look sort of low budget and a bit tacky and a bit cheap, but it sort of works with it. And I really love the edition that Second Sight put out of this. For what the film was, you know what I mean? It's got a lot of big actors in it. So it had Dennis Hopper, Stephen Dorff, Debbie Mazar, and Charles Dance. You know what I mean? You can't ask for much more than that, really. Just a crazy sort of sci-fi film. And again, you could pick this up for next to nothing. I think this, again, one of the cheaper ones on the secondary market now in the UK for Second Sight. And again, it's just one disc, no reverse art. Again, on the second-hand market can be picked up for about a £5. If you want it brand new, you can get it for £9 in the sale when it does pop up. If you've never seen it, I mean, that cover alone will probably sell it to you. It's absolutely batshit crazy, but it's definitely worth a watch. That's Space Truckers. And finally, the last one in my collection is probably one of my favourite Dennis Quaid films. I mean, it's definitely up there with the likes of Inner Space, Enemy Mine, Jaws 3. It's Dreamscape. Again, another one that I think is sadly forgotten now, but I truly love this film. I think it's great. I owned a large big box ex-rental VHS of this for years and years in my teens. and I wish I'd have kept it. Really, it's one that I got rid of, and I should never have done, because I mean, that artwork on the front when it's blown up into VHS style, especially the big box stuff, looks amazing. Now the artwork on this is exactly the same as what was on the original VHS, and it always sort of threw you a little bit because it looks very, very Indiana Jones-ish. I mean, I think it's a blatant rip-off Indiana Jones, and it sort of lulls you into a false sense of security with the film because it's nothing what you think it's going to be off the box, off the artwork. But that didn't matter for me. I mean, I thought this was fucking brilliant. I thought it was the bee's knees. Loved it all the time. And when Second Sight put this out, I was over the moon with it. Probably deserved a big box set of its own, which I don't think this one actually got. But it's absolutely crammed with special features. It's a 2K scan as well. There's loads sort of commentaries on there as well as, and there's test footage of the Snake Man, if you knew the Snake Man is in it. Really, really, really good film. Opening sequence to this, the first minute of the opener of this is up there with the sort of sequence, the nuclear fallout of the nuclear explosion in Terminator 2 sequence. You'll know what I'm talking about. This is definitely up there with that. The opening sequence of this film is fantastic. Not long back, I put this onto my projector. I think this was the first film I watched when I set my projector up for the first time about 12 months ago. I watched it in 150 inch and was just blown away by it. I'd never seen it in that sort of screen size before, especially not in the quality that they've done with this on the Blu-ray as well as. Absolutely love this film, can't get enough of it. Again, for me, it's probably up there with the best that Dennis Quaid did personally. So that's it for my collection. I mean, Second Sight go from strength to strength to strength with the stuff that they turn out. I mean, some of the limited edition stuff that I'm picking up for the likes of Johnny over at Johnny's Boutique Podcast and Alan over at Pop's Movie Dungeon, the stuff that I'm sending those guys looks fantastic. I mean, it's not for me. I don't personally collect that kind of stuff, but I get why people do, because it is fucking phenomenal what Second Sight turn out. Now, what I will say is though, the last sort of maybe 5 to 6 titles that they released aren't really my cup of tea. I'm never going to pick them up. They're not bad films, they're just not for me. But the stuff that is due to be released by these guys will probably blow you out the water. And I imagine the Hitch is going to look fantastic. But the real big one for me is Dog Soldiers. Cannot wait for that release. I think they're going to do an absolute phenomenal job on it. I think that drops in July, the end of July, I think. So I cannot wait for that. I mean, that will be my next pickup from these guys. So yeah, that's my collection of Second Sight films. If you've got any of these, please drop a comment down below. If you've seen any of these, again, drop us a comment. Please drop us a like and a subscribe. Take care, and I'll see you all soon. Bye bye.